Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakar Kadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles, of great millstone, preaching his word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching his word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching his word truthfully, faithfully, strongly, and sincerely. I say Shabbat Shalom to your Akim out there. And this is another news article, another update of increases of more wars and rumors of wars, and nations shall rise against nations, as is increasingly in the last days that we are living in. And this is a news article right here in the news on this April the 29th. 2022 on this Friday afternoon, 2:13 p.m. Central Standard Time. And this is a news article from English, ALARABY.co.uk. And this news article was published on April the 29th, 2022. And the highlight of this news article, and it reads for today, is Hezbollah Leader says Iran could retaliate if Israeli aggression continues. Right, because I believe it was like 2 days ago, it was like a airstrike. I guess, the IDF, they said it was like it's a retaliation defense airstrike that they did. And they confronted some people, soldiers from the opposite direction, over there in the Syrian border, the Israeli and the Syrian border, the cross borders. And they was doing like some type of operation, strike defense, in response to the strikes that happened over there. So yeah, that's why, the Hezbollah leader said that Iran could retaliate if the Israeli aggression continues. And it says Saeed Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Lebanon's Hezbollah group aligned with Iran, said on Friday that if Israeli aggression continues on Iran's presence in the region, it might strike at Israel directly. Right, and then you already have tensions already been building up for quite a while now between Iran and Israel. So that's why he made that statement. The Hezbollah leader made the warning in a speech during a ceremony in Beirut, Lebanon, marking a Quds Day. It says the leader of Lebanon's Hezbollah group warned on Friday that if Israel, which is the IDF military, continues to target Iran's presence in the region, Tehran could eventually retaliate by striking deep inside Israel. It says Saeed Hassan Yasserallah, if I pronounce his name right. Warning came in a speech during a ceremony in Beirut marking the Quds Day or Jerusalem Day. A tradition shows support for Palestinians. It says hundreds of Hezbollah supporters, officials from allied Palestinian groups. I believe Elder Malcolm, he did a video on this, and I quoted from him. He said all these Ishmaelites, they gonna team up against, guess you small hatters and you Israelis as well too. And it says that Israel has staged hundreds of strikes over the years targeting targets in Syria, where Iran, like Hezbollah, supports Assad's forces, but rarely acknowledge or discuss such operations. It has acknowledged target bases of Iran allied militias such as Hezbollah in Syria. Israel has said the attacks are against Iranian entrenchment neighboring Syria. Right, because you got the Syrian government over there, and then you got the Iran back groups. So yeah, it's a lot of tension. It's a lot of activities and tension going on, ongoing on and off in the region of Syria and Iraq as well too, and the Syrian border, along with the cross border of Israel as well too. So there been conflict between on both of the sides. It says Hezbollah, one of Iran's main arms, is in the region. Was formed in the early 1980s during the Lebanon Civil War by Iranian officials, and Tehran has been funding the group since. Nasrallah's comment came 2 days after the Israeli missile strike, that killed 4 people. I believe the death toll went from 4 to 9 now. So additional 5 people have got killed, I believe. It says for soldiers and wounding others, according to Syrian state media. It says a Syrian opposition war monitor gave a high death toll for the early Wednesday's strike that hit suburbs of the capital Damascus, saying it killed 6 Syrian soldiers and 4 Iranian-backed fighters. It says last month an Israel missile attack on Damascus killed 2 colonels with Iranian military Revolutionary Guard. Iran's retaliated shortly by firing surface-to-surface missiles and what it described as a Israeli spy central in the northern Iraq city of Erbil. And it says the Islamic Republic military stands on developing to a level that if Israel's aggression continues on Iranian presence in that region, it might strike at Israel directly, Nasrallah said. The ceremony on the last Friday of Ramadan was the first large gathering by Hezbollah since the CV demic started. Yashara said Iranian officials now believe that the time will bring our martyrs and whole funerals for them has ended. We will avenge our martyrs. This is an important development, Nasrallah said. Yep. Yeah, that goes to show you more of a increase of the nations rise against nations, and it's starting to show itself, and it's starting to be more increase in the last days. Like I mentioned before in my previous videos. That's why you've been seeing these increase of the wars and rumors of wars, and the nation should rise against nations. It's starting to be more frequent now, especially every day in the news, because sometimes, these wars and rumors of wars might just be a rumor, And then there come tuition of it being a reality as well too, in the news, and relates to the wars and rumors of wars and the nations arise against nations and the kingdom against kingdoms, as it's further increasing as we see these things around the world to take place, because these are biblical prophecy times that we are currently living in, and in our modern day times, right now, it's going to further escalate and increase, you know these tensions between Iran and Israel, is going to increase, intensify, because, it's going to be more of a second world was passed and third world coming quickly, because we're are living in those times of heightened increase of the nations shall rise against nations and the kingdom against kingdoms. I think I'm going to bring out the book of Ezekiel. I think Ezekiel 38th chapter. And it mentioned the Iranians in that chapter. I'm gonna go to that verse. I'm gonna go to verse 4. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, verse 4, and it reads, "And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy claws, and I will bring thee forth, and all the armies and horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even in a great company with bucklers and shields, and all of them handled with swords," right? Because the sword is the modern day weapon. It can be used in many ways. In verse 5, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya, and all of them with shields and helmets. Gomer, which is the modern day Turkey, and all his bands, in the house of Togmar, and of the north quarters, all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, and all, though, I'm going to read that again. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy companies that are assembled unto thee, and thou shalt thou and guard unto them. Right? Because you're going to have these, it's all starting to come together, and there's going to be these nations start coming together, in the battle with Jehoshaphat, which is in the Middle East region, and it's starting to be built up, and it's going to get to that point, and it's going to get fully to that point, when all these nations continue on battling against one another, they're going to start all coming together in the battle of Jehoshaphat, which is the Valley of Decision, Yahushua, That's why you're starting to see these nations like the weak say I am strong in the book of Joel 3, verse 10, and all these nations, which is mentioned in the book of Ezekiel, Turkey, Gomer, which is the modern day Turkish people, Ethiopia, Libya, all these nations going to come down in the battle of Jehoshaphat, and it's going to get to that point right now. But right now, these nations are still constantly, continually starting to go at with one another, and once that Lebanon's leader of the Hezbollah, he's saying with Israelis' aggression, over there in the Syrian border, because there's an Iran-backed military group over there, and I believe they had like some Israeli spies. I guess they was targeting them, and then the Israeli, the IDF, they was exchanging rocket power over there, and I believe it killed like like 6 or 7 soldiers, I believe. 7 of them got killed and 4 got wounded. So the death toll went up. Because at first it was like 4 of them. At first I thought it was 9 in total, but it went from 4 to 6. So yeah, once that leader of Hezbollah in Lebanon, he made that statement, saying that if the Israeli aggression keep on further doing attacks in that region over there, Iran backed allied military group in that region over there in Syria, they might use a direct hit on Israel, So that lets you know the increases of the wars and rumors of wars is further increasing by the day, because we're living in the biblical prophecy times. And I'm gonna bring out this Revelation 11 and 14 and close out. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 14, through the Holy Scriptures, and it reads, "And the second woe was past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly." Right, because we are living in those stages of third woe coming quickly. Now, even though these different nations and organizations and factors, they've been having these long commotions between one another, for a very long time. Sometimes it decrease, the tensions calm down, and then it further increase right back up, But we're in the beginning of stages and processing and moving right along approach to the World War III. Like I mentioned, the book of Revelation chapter 11, verse 14, what I just read just a minute ago, And it's further increasing in the last days because we see it, Because you got different commotions of wars and rumors of wars around other parts around the world as well, too. With the South China Sea, with the increase of China's troops over there. You got Japan troops over there stationed, Beijing, Hong Kong troops over there as well too. You got United States, they stationed over there, so you got commotions going on over there. And you got commotions going on in Africa, I believe, between the Ishmaelites and different tribals groups over there. You got clashes going on over there. And then you got the North Korea and South Korea going on with the Russia-Ukraine situation. And then you got between the Israelis and the Palestinians over there in the West Bank, over there in the Gaza Strip. So, you got a lot of different commotions going on around the world. It relates to wars and rumors of wars in the nation shall rise against nation. It's going to further increase in the last days, And so with that, I hope this sit-down lesson was edifying on this Shabbat through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh Yahushua. And first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Wakar Kadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles, great millstone, preaching his word truthfully and sincerely. It does shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching his word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching his word truthfully, faithfully, strongly, and sincerely. And I say shalom and Shabbat shalom and the ball.